is a colourful marvel of mixed cultures. In the sociological climate of racial awareness and segregation through varied colours and cultures, it might be hard to believe that there are some of us who sit between the grey areas. We celebrate every colour of the racial rainbow, an exotic cocktail and blend of humankind. My name is Melissa White, and welcome to Cultureline, an Odyssey of Anglo-India, Part 2, Culinary Culture, Cooking Khana. The world of food and eating traditions serves its right of place at the dinner table and has done so for a great part of human history. It is not just a way of survival, but a way of communicating and connecting. The Anglo-Indian cuisine is influenced by various cultures, such as Indian, British, Dutch, and Portuguese. In this episode of Cultureline, I would like to take you on a culinary journey, exploring the history, ingredients, and memories typical of Anglo-Indian traditions and culinary palate. From the arrival of the Portuguese right through to the British Raj and beyond, Anglo-Indians have developed and now cherish the bonds created with the dishes that bring about warm memories steeped in tradition. So follow me once again into my mini archives on a culinary journey of Anglo-India. The year was 1497 when Portuguese explorer and admiral of the seas of India, Arabia, Persia and the Orient, Captain Major Vasco da Gama, sailed a fleet of 4 ships. With 170 officers and men on a 10-month voyage to India via the Cape of Good Hope. As mentioned in the last episode, the expedition was commissioned by King Manuel I of Portugal at a time where the country held a monopoly over the booming spice trade. During this era, spices were considered as valuable as silver or gold during the Age of Discovery. Among the first to improve the economy of the Portuguese Empire was cinnamon and black pepper, otherwise known as piper nigrum, which was shipped back to the city of Lisbon. In time, however, more spices were added to the mix. Back in ancient times of trade, caravans were used as a means of transportation, as they wheeled across the rickety roads from Calicut, Goa, and the Orient to spice markets in Babylon, Alexandria, Carthage, and Rome. Being subject to storms, shipwrecks, piracy, and robberies was of course no easy feat. However, the profit made from the spice trade outweighed the cons involved. The Portuguese monopoly over the pepper trade, however, did not last for long. Competition started to win out, as they had no control over where pepper was grown elsewhere. Soon, pepper was a big commodity for Venice, and there were instances of illegal trading. As time ticked over, cargoes were seized inland and were transported to the Red Sea over the mainland via coolie, meaning labourer or slave, or bullocks, a 4-wheeled vehicle pulled by oxen, and by the 1590s the Dutch attacked, ending the Portuguese monopoly. Most of the spices used during the Renaissance period throughout most of Europe were sourced from India, as there were many uses for them. Pepper, originating out of Cochin and the Malabar coast, was used to season and preserve spoiled meat. Cloves, grown in the coast of the Bay of Bengal, and cinnamon, which was native to Ceylon, were used to promote a sense of cleanliness and encourage ventilation. They were thrown across flooring to eliminate any foot odors. Likewise, spicy pomanders were worn around people's throats to avoid illness, suffocation, and odor. nutmeg was also carried around by Renaissance folk in case they may need to flavor unsavory meals. Dutch explorers Van Houten and Van Neck established friendships with native sultans. They arranged trading posts, giving reign over the monopoly of the spice trade of Holland in the early 17th century. However, not for long. As the 1800s rolled in, Britain had obtained complete control. The British Raj was the longest in imperial history, lasting from 1858 until 1947. Indian cooks utilized British kitchen techniques and ingredients, creating what became Anglo-Indian dishes.
Anglo-Indian cuisine evolved over many hundreds of years as a result of reinventing and reinterpreting the quintessentially Western cuisine by assimilating and amalgamating ingredients and cooking techniques from all over the Indian subcontinent.
Soups were spiced, giving birth to a dish called mulakatani. The name comes from the Tamil words meaning pepper water, and was traditionally made with chicken or mutton stock at its inception in 18th century. The dish did not exist prior to the British Raj and was believed to have been developed for the British who were accustomed to a course of soups before dinner.
The story goes that the British soldiers used to love to have soup before they started their meals. And what happened was that they just couldn't get soup, and the Indian chefs could not understand what it is that they want. Then finally one guy figured out that they want a soup. It's something brothy, so they used to have something which is like a dal. So they watered down the dal, they crushed it, blended it, and they added a few very mild spices with a bit of lemon and curry powder and this. And that came to be as mulligatawny soup as we know it today.
Fast forward to today, and the mulligatawny dish of the 1800s and pepper water are quite varied dishes from each other, though the dish of mulligatawny remains a favorite in the UK. Though not typically Anglo-Indian, it was popular during the colonial era. The dish Anglo-Indians called pepper water, according to Bridget White-Kumar, is closer to a Tamil rasam. However, the mulligatawny developed into variations of pepper water, such as breastbone, dal, shrimp, and horse-gram pepper waters.
The first dishes that evolved in those days was mulligatawny soup, meat jalfrezi, which was basically meat fried with a few spices, tomato ketchup, and many other fusion, dishes.
Another dish which evolved from colonization was kofta, or meatball curry.
Anglo-Indian minced ball curry sort of evolved from a simple steamed forced meat fricadelle that was introduced by the Dutch in India and later evolved into our own extremely tasty ball curry, where we made use of Indian spices to give it that taste.
An example of an Anglo-Indian dish that was developed as a first fusion dish is country captain chicken. Although this dish was very popular in the past, not many Anglian families cook them today. Grape wine and ginger wine are most popular homemade wines, and they are still made today by many Anglian families.
All in all, Anglo-Indian food can be described as an evolved fusion of East meets West. Among the variety of dishes that exist from both colonial times and now, there are delicacies.
Kuti pie is a curry dish from Anglo-Indian cuisine, consisting of flesh of an unborn fetus from an animal, usually goat. It's unique to the Anglo-Indian community, where it's considered to be a delicacy.
While some may argue about what is true Anglo-Indian food, the truth is a lot less black and white. With Anglo-Indians stationed at various points across India, regional influence was inevitable.
There are no accurate or authentic recipes in Anglo-Indian cuisine because this cuisine took many hundreds of years to evolve. And over a period of time, the recipes and dishes were adapted and changed to suit local and regional tastes.
You had Anglo-Indians staying in Goa, they had a very different cuisine. You had Anglo-Indians staying in Calcutta, it was a very different cuisine. You had Anglo-Indians staying in Bangalore, very different cuisine. Means the base was the same, but the flavors, the spice levels are slightly different. And the way they use certain spices is very different.
Food has a way of bringing people together in many cultures. This is no different for the Anglo-Indians or those who may join them in an Anglo-Indian feast.
Drinks flowing, dancing. We Anglos are very good at entertaining guests and making the occasion enjoyable.
Anglo-Indian food has a way of evoking memories to many. Christmas time was a popular season for Anglos across India. Many continued a few of the traditions upon migrating, with some traditions slowly diminishing.
For me, Christmas is always associated with the smell, sounds, and sights of the season. Most Anglo-Indian families, as you know, have their own recipe for Christmas cake that is usually handed down through generations. Now, the candied fruit, plums, currants, raisins, orange peel, and all that are cut and soaked in rum or brandy a few weeks in advance. The nuts are peeled and chopped, and the whole family comes together to make the Christmas cakes. All in all, Christmas at an Anglo-Indian home is always full of fun.
A special thank you to award-winning cookbook author Bridget White-Kumar, UK cookbook author Errol Anderson, and world-class chef Arzooman Irani for their expertise and perspectives on Anglo-Indian cooking and cuisine. In the next episode of Cultureline, we will be exploring the Anglo-Indian community and their strong connection to music past and present. Hope you'll stop by then. My name is Melissa White, and thank you for listening. Till next time.